What's up, guys? BriarRabbit here, and this is part 2 of my Game Consoles of Past Remembrance series, I guess you'd call it. So I wasn't able to finish the whole story in one video, so I figured I'd split it up into 2 videos, and here's the second part. So I ended up the last video by talking about the PC, and the PC was really cool. It was super influential, and after that, the next console I got was the PlayStation. So I never got the Sega Saturn. I went straight to the Sony PlayStation, and I spent a lot of time playing with that PlayStation. I remember sitting around with friends playing the Resident Evil games. I had a couple of friends who really liked Tekken, stuff like that. Unfortunately, at that time in my life, I wasn't super into video games. I was at college, I had a lot of stuff going on, and video games had just taken a back seat. So the PlayStation era of video games doesn't really resonate that strongly with me. I wasn't that big into it at the time. However, after the PlayStation era came the Sega Dreamcast, and that one does have a special place in my heart. The Dreamcast came out at a time when it was kind of my first, I had a job, it was my first, adult video game console purchase, and it was always really special to me. I was living with a couple guys at the time. I remember I pre-ordered the thing at Toys R Us, went to pick it up. There were no lines or anything. You know, I strolled in there, picked up the Dreamcast. I think I was the only person in there buying it. But I brought it home, and I had some great games for that thing. I think Ready to Rumble, Resident Evil Code Veronica. There was a great Soul Calibur game for it, and the NFL game for it. But really what I remember about that console was that it was just so tremendously good looking. And the VMU, the little screen in the controller, was just so cool. I spent a lot of time with that console. I spent a lot of time playing Grandia 2. I spent a lot of time with Skies of Arcadia. I love that console, and it still to this day has a very special place in my heart. I really enjoyed it. So after that guy came the PlayStation 2. The PlayStation 2 was stunning. Now, that was the first time that I remember in my adult life having to really work hard to get a console at launch. And I got super lucky because I actually won that one in a Pepsi sweepstakes kind of thing. So I opened a bottle cap of Pepsi, and it said, "You won a PlayStation 2." I was like, sweet! Because you couldn't find these things anywhere when they launched. I mean, they were super, super rare. And I just happened to win one off of a Pepsi container. I was so psyched about that. And so that memory will stick with me until the day I die, because that's like the only thing I've ever won like that, and it was pretty cool. After the PlayStation 2, I also got an Xbox. I can't remember if I actually had an Xbox, but I remember getting Halo. And I talked in part 1 about first-person shooters, but Halo was mind-blowing. Now, I love first-person shooters, but Halo, it took it to a new level for me. It was so complex, and the AI for the single player was so good that you almost felt like you were playing a multiplayer game. And then when I brought it over to a friend's house and we had 4 people all competing with the pistols, and oh my god, I love that game. Halo was so much fun, and the Xbox, just like the Dreamcast, will always have a special place in my heart just because of Halo. It was just such an influential game for me. So after the Xbox and the PlayStation 2 come the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 2. And the Xbox 360 actually released first, and this is kind of a really special story for me. So I was actually in kind of a rough spot in my life. I had just broken up with a longtime girlfriend. I had moved out of the apartment that we shared and back in with my mother, which was frankly humiliating. It's not something you want to do as an adult. If you find that yourself in that place as an adult, you know that you've messed up somehow. But that's where I was in life at the time. And the Xbox 360 came out, and it wasn't like really one of my top priorities getting one of those things when it launched, so I didn't pre-order or anything. But about a month later, it was still hard to find. I was looking around, I couldn't find one, and I finally heard that Walmart nearby was going to release them like that morning. So you had to be in line at like 7 a.m. or whatever time they opened, and they'd kind of do a first come, first serve for the shipment of Xbox 360s. So I told my mother that I was going to wake up early, head over to Walmart, and she said, "Well, why don't I come with you?" I'm like, really? Remember, I'm an adult at this point. I'm not like a little kid. I'm a full-fledged adult who had just, broken up with from an adult relationship, and she's just like, hey, why don't I come with you? I'm like, Ma, it's, it's freezing cold out. I'm just gonna be standing outside of a Walmart for like 3 or 4 hours. She's like, that's okay, I'll come with you. And she did, and it was amazing. I can't believe she did that. Like, who does that? She was just standing outside of a Walmart just because she thought I could use the company while I waited to get a video game console. And I'll always remember that. I think that's like one of the nicest things that anybody's ever done for me. And I thought that was really special. So next we came to the PlayStation 3, and the PlayStation 3 doesn't have nearly as good a story. Basically, I was in GameStop one day. This is well after the release. I wasn't that interested in the PlayStation 3 because I already had an Xbox 360. There weren't a whole lot of launch games that were super interesting. So I saw it, and the guy said, hey, we have these things. I said, how much is it? He said, $600. I'm like, I guess I'll take it. And I brought it home, and I played it for a while, and end of story. But that's going to do it. That's the whole... that's the history of video game consoles for the BriarRabbit. That was all the game consoles I've ever owned. And... tonight is the PlayStation 4 launch, so I'll be adding one more little notch to that history book. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Hit that like button if you like the video. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.